One of the more popular porting procedures that we do to cylinder heads is what we call undercover porting. Why would a person want to do undercover porting? Well, if for whatever reason you want to keep the port looking stock and get a sizable performance improvement, especially to the stock type heads like the double hump, the open chamber, the Dart SS, the 350Is. These are either stock heads that were designed for street applications, not to be run over 4,000 RPM, or as stock replacement cylinder heads that are okay. They're better than the stock cylinder heads, the double hump and the open chamber, but they still leave a lot to be desired when they're going to be running them 6,500 RPM on a race car. So the objective of the undercover work is to give you as much performance improvement as possible while maintaining that stock looking port. And we can do that by doing their research and development work via the flow bench on each particular cylinder head. Every head is modified a little bit differently. There are some basics for each of the cylinder heads, but we're only making the port a little bit larger, 2 to 3% larger. That boils down to about 4 or 5 cc's on most cylinder heads. And we're getting a pretty dramatic improvement in airflow, generally around 20 CFM on the intake and anywhere from 20 to 30 typically on the exhaust side. And again, the port looks stock. Now we have other porting procedures that we'll talk about in future videos, SST porting and CNC sportsman porting, that are fully ported cylinder heads, and they will work better than an undercover ported head. We could make the undercover ported heads better if we wanted to, but it would compromise the visual integrity of the cylinder head. So the best I can, I'll show you a couple little things on the cylinder heads, little areas that we do modify, and more importantly, that we don't modify to keep the head looking as stock as we possibly can. Now this is an open chamber cylinder head, a double hump head, like say a 492, a 461, a 291, are all going to be about the same. The intake and exhaust ports are very similar on those double hump heads as they are the open chamber. Now this is an open chamber cylinder head, a 993 with undercover work. One thing we do is we put our valve job in, our 45 and a 60, and a nice bowl cut. So we're not polishing and radiusing and showing off all the pouring we did in the bowl area, just the opposite. We want to keep it looking as stock as we possibly can. Now some of you have a rule where you can only do 3 angles, so then we wouldn't do that bowl cut in there. But that bowl cut is critical for performance and for visual representation that it's more of a stock port. Okay, this is an undercover ported head. This particular head will produce 15 to 20 more horsepower at 6,000 RPM than a stock head in a 2-barrel application with either cast intake or cast exhaust. Now the intake port opening on this cylinder head, we do nothing. So the intake port openings are stock. We don't make them any bigger. We don't increase the push rod cross section on them. They're stock, stock, stock. So looking at this cylinder head on the motor, off the motor, would be very difficult for somebody to tell that anything has been done. Of course, on the racetrack, you're going to be quicker than the guy next to you, especially on more horsepower tracks than somebody that just has stock set of cylinder heads. Now this is a Engine Quest CH350i cylinder head. Same thing in the bowl area. This is a 194 valve 350i, and we have a seat insert in here. You can see everything here looks stock. We don't polish and radius that area. On the exhaust side, the same thing. The exhaust ports are basically stock. We have done some work in that short turn radius. You go ahead and you flip the head over on the exhaust port opening area. Nothing done. Looks just like a stock cylinder head. So if you're looking for maximum performance in an application where you want to keep the heads looking stock, you want to seriously consider the undercover porting. It'll give you a big advantage over not doing the undercover porting on just about any cylinder head. The advantage is going to be more on the more stock type cylinder heads, the open chamber, the double hump, the 350Is, and the SS cylinder heads. And we can do the undercover porting to your cylinder heads or to our cylinder heads. The porting procedures are the same, and we'll go over how to send cylinder heads to us in a future video.